Somewhere across Earthland, around the year X778, the world of Earthland was immense, an expansive realm made up of countless nations and continents of differing scales. Despite their distinctions, they were all bound by one universal constant: magic. Since ancient times, magic had been a vital part of life, serving as a tool, a trade, a weapon, and even a measure of status. Those gifted enough to wield it were called wizards, and over time, they came together to form magic guilds, organizations where they could take on jobs, earn money, and contribute to society. Among the many guilds that rose and fell across the ages, one guild in the Ishgar continent stood unmatched in might and legacy. Fairy Tail, the pride of the Kingdom of Fjord. Founded in X686, Fairy Tail quickly became one of the most powerful legal guilds in existence. Its fame drew both admiration and hostility, with rival guilds and criminal organizations constantly challenging it. Yet none of these threats compared to one name that sent tremors through all of Ishgar: the Black Wizard, Zeref. Little was known about Zeref's origins. Many claimed he perished centuries ago and awaited resurrection. Fanatical cults of dark wizards worshipped him, carrying out atrocities in his name: human sacrifices, slave trading, and senseless killings. Ironically, Zeref abhorred such evil. What he truly desired was not more death, but his own end. In truth, Zeref was still alive, wandering aimlessly through a dim forest with a vacant, sorrowful gaze. He appeared youthful, draped in a black, high-collared robe and a white toga that hung across his body like a ceremonial sash. His jet-black hair and lifeless eyes reflected his despair, and around his neck hung a small, silver pendant of unknown importance. Each step he took brought ruin, the trees withered, and the grass beneath his feet decayed into gray dust. His cursed existence continued to spread death wherever he went. "Will I forever destroy everything I touch?" he whispered, voice trembling. He stopped near the edge of a cliff, staring down at the waters below. If not for his accursed immortality, he would have ended his suffering long ago. The god Anksaram's curse still plagued him after 4 centuries, an unending punishment known as the Curse of Contradiction. Lifting his gaze toward the blue sky, Zeref felt nothing. Even the warmth of daylight could not melt the frost in his heart. His thoughts drifted to the one person who nearly reached him: Mavis Vermilion, Fairy Tail's first master. Bound by the same immortal curse, she understood his pain as no one else could. Their love, however, was their undoing. To love her was to kill her. His life had always been a cruel paradox. He sought peace, yet birthed monsters called Etherius. He loved his brother, yet turned him into the very being fated to kill him. He longed for death, but still yearned to destroy Acknowledge, the Black Dragon. The Eclipse Project had once been his attempt to reconcile those contradictions. And then there was another anomaly from his past, a man unlike anyone he had ever encountered. During the year X686, when he first met Mavis and her friends, a warrior named Bardock stood among them. His name alone sounded foreign to Earthland. The tail wrapped around his waist revealed he wasn't fully human, and what intrigued Zeref most was that Bardock used no magic at all. Instead, he manipulated his own inner energy, what he called Chi Asterisk, to fight and even fly. Though Zeref had little time to study him, he later learned through Mavis that Bardock was a Saiyan, a warrior who had crossed through time and space to reach Earthland. Bardock's homeworld had been destroyed, leaving behind his wife and 2 children. The mystery surrounding that planet's annihilation unsettled Zeref deeply. If beings capable of erasing entire worlds existed elsewhere, perhaps one could finally grant him the death he craved. "I wonder if that witch, Baba Yaga, ended up in that same universe," Zeref murmured. Once his equal in magical strength, Baba had vanished long ago, supposedly to run a fortune-telling business in another realm's version of Earth. The differences between the 2 worlds fascinated him. Then, realization struck. Bardock had once mentioned his sons, Raditz, who was far from home, and his youngest, Kakarot, who had been sent to a planet called Earth as an infant to survive his world's destruction. If this was indeed the same Earth where Baba Yaga now resided, things were becoming very interesting. By now, Kakarot might have grown into a formidable warrior, perhaps even mastering both Asterisk Kai and magic if fate allowed. Zeref's lips curled into a dark smile. "So, another challenger arises. Let's see how you measure up, Kakarot, and whether you can surpass my dear Natsu. As thunder rumbled overhead, storm clouds swallowed the bright sky. His eyes gleamed crimson for an instant as lightning illuminated his silhouette. If your father's strength was any indication, he whispered, then perhaps you'll be the one to end this curse. The rain began to fall. Shadows enveloped him once more as he turned away from the cliff, muttering to himself, I'll be waiting, Baba. Let's see how you play your hand this time. He vanished into the depths of the forest, leaving death and silence in his wake. Baba's palace, age 750 elsewhere, in another universe, Baba sat on her floating crystal ball beside her brother, Master Roshi. The group awaited Goku's return. Having recently reunited with his grandfather, Gohan, and collected the fifth Dragon Ball, Goku was now off to find the remaining two to revive Yupa's father, Bora. Baba, an elderly woman with lavender hair and a dark witch's robe, observed the quiet arena until a sudden chill crawled up her spine. Her eyes widened as an old, dreadful energy washed over her. That feeling, she thought anxiously. It had been centuries since she last sensed it, since Earth-land, since him. Was that cursed wizard thinking of her again? Roshi noticed her unease and raised an eyebrow. What's wrong, Baba? You look like you've seen a ghost. I'm fine, fool, she snapped. Just remembered something I want to bring up to Goku, that's all. Roshi frowned but didn't press further. Better make it quick. He'll be training for the next tournament soon. This concerns his training, actually, Baba replied sharply. If it works, he'll become much stronger. Roshi stroked his beard. Interesting. Guess I'll find out soon enough. Moments later, Goku soared in on the flying Nimbus, landing before his friends with a bright grin. His wild black hair swayed in the breeze, and his new outfit, a purple robe over a yellow shirt with a violet belt, fluttered as he jumped down. The power pole rested securely across his back. Hey everyone, I'm back, Goku cheered, waving. Krillin, dressed in his yellow gi and orange pants, stepped forward. So, did it work? Were you able to bring Yupa's dad back with the Dragon Balls? And just like that, their next adventure began. Goku flashed a wide grin, throwing up a victory sign toward Krillin. Yup, that was easy. Everyone cheered, happy to see Goku doing so well lately. He'd really become quite useful over the past few months. I bet that reunion was a real tearjerker, Yamcha said with a big grin. He was in his usual desert outfit, though his hair was noticeably shorter. Well done, kid, Master Roshi nodded proudly. Goku thanked him, then suddenly froze and grabbed his pants in alarm. Ah, oh no. I gotta pee, he shouted before sprinting off toward a corner and pulling his pants down, shocking Baba completely. What are you doing? Go find a bush, you savage, the old witch yelled, horrified. Sometimes she seriously questioned how Gohan raised this boy. Once done, Goku laughed sheepishly. Hee, sorry Baba, but when you gotta go, right? Baba groaned, disgusted. I'll just pretend I didn't hear that. So, what's next, Goku? Isn't it gonna be another year before you find your grandpa's memento again? Bulma asked curiously. Goku grinned and pulled out a round stone ball from inside his shirt. Actually, I managed to snag the 4-star ball before it flew off this time. He chuckled proudly. Bulma gasped. Wow, I didn't even see you move. So that means you won't have to hunt the Dragon Balls again? Krillin asked. Exactly, now it's time to train for the next World Martial Arts Tournament, Goku said, his fists tightening in excitement. Well, you and Krillin won't be the only ones training. Master Roshi agreed to take me on too, Yamcha announced enthusiastically. Really? That's awesome, we'll have a blast together, Goku said happily. Yeah, he's gonna start me from the basics again, Yamcha said with a grin. Just don't pick up any of his nasty habits, Bulma warned, pointing a finger. Is it wrong to admire the beauty of women? Roshi argued defensively, crossing his arms. Bulma's glare could have burned a hole through him. It is when you're a perverted old man, she snapped. HMPH, fine, forget I said anything, Roshi muttered. Still cheerful, Goku turned toward his friends and teacher. So all three of us can train together, right? Not exactly, Goku. I've got a different proposal for your training, if you're open to it, Baba interjected. Goku tilted his head. Different. What do you mean? Suppose I told you there's another Earth, one completely separate from this one, with countless strong fighters waiting to test you, Baba said mysteriously. Goku blinked, trying to keep up. Another Earth. Like where Grandpa went when he came back? Baba shook her head. No, child, the other world is the afterlife. I'm talking about another living planet just like this one. This is new to me. What's this other Earth called? Yamcha asked, skeptical. It's known by many names, but most call it Earthland, Baba explained. Bulma blinked. Earthland, seriously, that's the best they could come up with. I didn't name it, Baba said with a shrug. But my brother and I were actually born there. What? Everyone shouted at once. Master Roshi, you're from another world? Krillin stammered. Roshi nervously adjusted his sunglasses. Well, kind of. I was just a baby when we came here. A baby? Then how old was Baba? Bulma asked, turning toward the witch. About 200 years, give or take. Not bad for my age, huh? Baba said proudly. The group stood speechless, except Goku, who still didn't quite get it. For someone who should be dust by now, I guess you do look decent, Yamcha muttered. Baba glared sharply. Want me to summon bandages again? She threatened. Yamcha immediately straightened up. Sorry, ma'am, he squeaked. Satisfied, Baba continued. Anyway, Earthland is full of powerful spellcasters. They join magic guilds, taking on jobs that often involve fighting. It's not too different from what Goku does. She smiled faintly, reminiscing about her younger years, back when she didn't have to deal with her pervy brother. I used to live there long ago, back when I was called Baba Yaga. I was quite the fortune teller and started my own little business, this one, in fact. She gestured around her palace. Real modest, aren't you? Roshi commented dryly. Quiet you. Anyway, I sometimes used dimensional magic to peek at what was happening back home. And during those times, I came across one particular guild far too often. What kind of, guild was it? Goku asked, mispronouncing the word. It's called Fairy Tail. It's only been around for about 90 years, but they've made quite an impression. Baba's expression darkened. Mostly because they're a bunch of rowdy idiots who fight all the time. Bulma sighed. That sounded exactly like Goku's kind of place. Fairy Tail sounds more like a ballet group, Yamcha joked. Name aside, those wizards are incredibly loyal to each other. Their bond gives them a strength most others lack, Baba countered. She pointed straight at Goku. That's why I think you should train there before the next tournament. Everyone turned to Goku, waiting for his answer. Well, I dunno. They sound pretty strong, Goku said, scratching his head. Some are, some aren't. But you'd fit right in, and learning about magic could help strengthen your Kai, Baba encouraged. Goku thought for a moment, glancing at Roshi. What do you think, old-timer? Will this fairy tale place help me? That's not my call, Goku, Roshi said seriously. You've grown beyond my lessons. From here on, you must walk your own path and grow through experience. My own path, Goku echoed. Exactly. You've already become an excellent fighter, but the world is huge. Go out there, see new lands, meet new people, and keep learning. Whether on Earth or Earthland, every journey will make you stronger, Roshi said with rare wisdom. Whatever choice you make, I know you'll amaze me when you return. Everyone blinked, surprised by the heartfelt speech. Roshi smirked proudly. Heh, still got it, he thought. But when he saw Goku's wide-eyed expression, that pride vanished. I kinda lost you halfway, but I think I got the point, Goku said cheerfully. Roshi groaned, collapsing backward. Glad I could help, he muttered weakly. Goku then turned to Baba, grinning. All right, I'll take your offer. Visiting another world and meeting these fairy tale guys sounds fun. I'm pleased to hear that. Consider it a little bonus for helping bring your grandfather back, Baba said. Not sure what that means, but okay, Goku replied, clueless as ever. Baba sighed deeply and floated back toward her palace. We'll begin our journey to Earthland whenever you're prepared, the elderly witch announced. Nodding, Goku turned toward his friends to say his goodbyes. Guess I'll see you at the next tournament in 3 years, Goku. I'm eager to see what you'll achieve with this guild of yours, Master Roshi said with a grin. Got it, Master. I'll give it everything I've got, Goku answered, flashing his trademark smile. Krillin frowned, his eyes lowering. 3 whole years in some other world, that's forever. Sensing the sadness in his friend's tone, Goku stepped over and rested a hand on Krillin's shoulder. I'll miss you too, Krillin, but I promise we'll meet again someday. You can count on that. His reassurance brought a small smile back to the monk's face. Wish I could tag along, but fine, Krillin sighed. Still, next time I'll definitely be taller than you. Haha, I'll be growing too, so good luck with that, Goku laughed. Then he turned toward Yamcha and Pure. Better train hard, Goku. I'm planning to crush you in the next tournament, Yamcha declared with a confident smirk. Oh yeah, I'll make sure you've got a tough fight coming, Yamcha, Goku shot back playfully. Heh, I'll be waiting, Yamcha replied, fist clenched in excitement. After sharing a few laughs with Yamcha, Goku finally faced Bulma, his oldest companion. Her expression was conflicted. So you're really heading off, huh? She asked quietly. Yeah, I am. It's tough leaving everyone behind like this, Goku admitted, rubbing his cheek. The idea of visiting another world was thrilling, but also strange. Without warning, Bulma pulled him into a tight hug, pressing his face against her stomach. Promise me you won't do anything stupid, got it? I'd never forgive myself if something happened to you in some other dimension, she said, her voice tinged with worry. Goku, awkward with such moments, gently patted her back. I'll be careful, Bulma. You don't have to worry so much, he replied earnestly, then grinned. But next time we meet, can you try being a little nicer? Her eyes widened before she angrily shoved him away. What's that supposed to mean, idiot? She snapped, fuming. Goku simply chuckled and waved goodbye to everyone. See ya, guys, I'll catch you later, he shouted, running after Baba as his friends waved back. Bye, Goku, Krillin called out. Good luck, you've got this, Yamcha added supportively. Stay safe, Pure squeaked. Bulma stayed quiet for a moment, then smiled softly as she watched him go. He drives me crazy sometimes, but I'm really gonna miss that goofy kid. Hard to believe it's only been a year since I met him on that mountain, she murmured, remembering their first adventure. Who would have guessed that strange boy with a tail would grow into the hero who saved the world? A sense of pride warmed her chest. Watching Goku disappear into the distance, Bulma placed a hand over her heart. Her bright blue eyes shimmered with worry. Please stay safe out there, Goku, for all our sakes, she thought to herself. Nearby, Baba led the young Saiyan back to her palace's main hall. The chamber was dimly lit, lined with flickering candles and skeletal guards gripping tridents. Normally, this was where Baba told fortunes, but her services were paused for now. Goku glanced around, taking in the eerie surroundings. So, how do we actually get to this Earth-land place? Instead of answering, Baba floated off her crystal ball. The orb hovered between them, glowing faintly. Just stand perfectly still and you'll see, she instructed. Goku obeyed, curious. The old witch raised her hands, channeling magic into the orb until it shone with a brilliant white light. She murmured a spell in low tones, her focus locked on the image of Magnolia Town, the home of Fairy Tale's Guild Hall. In seconds, a vivid picture of the bustling city appeared before Goku's eyes. Wow, he gasped. The town was lively and full of people, divided by a flowing river. It almost looked like his own world. With one last incantation, the image shifted to reveal the massive Fairy Tale Guild Hall, a towering 3-story building with stone walls, red roofs, and a proud orange banner bearing the guild's insignia. Intrigued, Goku poked the crystal ball and the surface rippled like water. Is it supposed to do that? He asked. Indeed, Baba nodded. Normally, I use this crystal ball for fortune-telling, but with my dimensional magic, it can serve as a gateway to other worlds, or even timelines. Though I must admit, such spells drain me more than they used to. Goku didn't fully grasp what she meant, but he could tell it worked. The image looked real enough. So do I just jump in? He asked. Precisely. Allow me to show you, Baba said slyly. Using telekinesis, she lifted Goku into the air and flung him forward. Whoa, wait, Baba AAGHH, Goku yelped as his body was sucked into the glowing sphere. Within moments, he vanished completely, pulled through to Earthland. Heth, that never gets old, Baba chuckled. She soon followed after him, hopping into the orb. As she entered, the crystal ball folded in on itself and disappeared, marking the start of Goku's journey to Earthland. Magnolia, year X 778. The city, home to over 60,000 people, was calm that day. Citizens went about their lives, shopping, working, praying at Cardia Cathedral. The skies were clear, birds sang, and peace blanketed the town. But inside the Fairy Tale Guild Hall, chaos reigned as usual. The guild members filled the building with laughter, chatter, and arguments. Some crowded around the bar, others picked missions from a board cluttered with requests. One person studied the papers for ages, unsure which to take. At the bar's counter, an elderly man with wild white hair sat drinking merrily. His striped hat had two floppy ear-like shapes sticking out, and his matching coat hung loosely over a white shirt bearing the fairy tale symbol. His rosy cheeks said all there was to know. He'd been celebrating hard. This was Makarov Dreyar, Fairy Tale's third guild master. Raising his mug high, he called out, "Drinks are on me. You all earned it, thanks to your hard work. Fairy Tale remains the strongest guild in Fior." "Thanks, master," the members cheered, raising their own drinks. As Makarov prepared to gulp more beer, a polite cough interrupted him. Ahem. He looked up to see a young woman with striking red hair braided neatly down her back. Dressed in white clothes under gleaming armor and a red ribbon at her collar, she carried a sheathed sword at her side. Her sharp gaze could silence anyone in the room. Is something wrong, Urza?" Makarov asked curiously. The armored redhead, Urza Scarlet, exhaled in mild annoyance and motioned toward the other side of the guild hall. "Natsu and Gray are at it again. Want me to break them up?" she said flatly. Makarov leaned sideways to see what she meant. Sure enough, two familiar troublemakers were already in each other's faces. One was a pink-haired boy wearing a red shirt and a white scarf, while the other, a black-haired teen, stood bare-chested as usual, sporting only a pair of dark shorts and a blue guild mark across his chest. "What was that, ice brain?" Natsu growled through clenched teeth. "You deaf or something? I said your lame fire doesn't stand a chance against my maker magic," Gray barked back. "Oh yeah. Wanna prove it, you half-naked freak?" Natsu shot back, fists blazing. Gray smirked confidently. "Ha, that insult doesn't even work right now. I'm actually wearing pants this time." Nearby, a brunette in an orange dress with red straps leaned lazily on her elbow, sipping a drink through a straw as she watched. Kana Alberona sighed, visibly bored with the familiar sight. "Actually, Gray, you've been shirtless for a while now," she commented dryly. Gray blinked, then looked down. "Wait, seriously?" He groaned once he realized Kana was right. "Oh, come on." Grumbling, he turned his frustration back toward Natsu. "Whatever, I'll beat you down fast, flame brain," he declared, summoning a glowing blue circle in his palm. "Big talk. Let's see you back it up," Natsu shouted as fire flared around his fists. In seconds, the pair launched at each other, fists, flames, and ice shards flying everywhere. Their chaotic scuffle tore through tables and chairs, sending startled guildmates scrambling to get out of the way. "Hey, watch where you're swinging," yelled Macau Bolt, a blue-haired mage in his 30s. His warning was pointless. The next moment, his table was flipped, drinks spilling all over him. With a sigh, he muttered, "Figures. Should have just stayed quiet." Meanwhile, Urza folded her arms and shot Makarov a sharp look. "They'll tear the hall apart if this keeps up. Say the word and I'll handle them." Makarov raised a calming hand. "Patience, Urza. Boys their age fight, it's how they bond." "If you say so, master, but I still think—" "Let them be," he interrupted with a chuckle. "Something else will probably stop them before long." Right on cue, a brilliant flash of light appeared in the center of the room. Both Natsu and Gray froze mid-swing as everyone turned toward the blinding glow. Even the old master looked uneasy. Magical phenomena rarely appeared inside the guild without cause. As the light faded, it revealed a large floating crystal orb. It hovered for a moment before suddenly spitting out Goku, who face-planted onto the wooden floor. Floating above him was Baba, perched casually atop the crystal. "Owa, a little warning next time, Baba," Goku complained, rubbing his head. "Couldn't resist, kid. Heh heh," Baba replied with a mischievous grin. The guild hall fell silent, everyone eyeing the unexpected visitors. Urza tilted her head, curious about the spiky-haired boy who seemed about her age. A human boy, emerging from a crystal ball, how peculiar, she thought, watching closely. Makarov's eyes narrowed slightly. He recognized the floating witch instantly. "Well, I'll be Baba Yaga herself. Been a long while," he greeted warmly. Baba waved a hand. "Save the small talk, Makarov. I've come with a proposal." "A proposal?" Makarov leaned back, intrigued. "I want this boy to join Fairy Tale," Baba said simply. A sly grin followed. "You might even find his face familiar." The old master frowned, puzzled, until his eyes lingered on Goku's features. His expression changed to shock. That hair, those eyes, it couldn't be coincidence. "Hey, everyone, I'm Son Goku. Nice to meet ya." Goku greeted cheerfully, flashing a peace sign. Just from that single introduction, Makarov could tell this boy was going to stir up the guild in a big way. And judging by that uncanny resemblance, his arrival was no ordinary coincidence. Makarov soon ushered Goku and Baba into his office to talk privately. The old man's desk was buried in paperwork, which caught Goku's eye immediately. "Whoa, that's a lot of paper," he said in awe. "Ignore it," Makarov sighed. "Most of it's repair bills from all the chaos around here," Baba chuckled. "The cost of being powerful, huh?" "You said it," Makarov replied with a weary grin. "But let's get to the point." He folded his hands, his expression turning serious. "Why exactly do you want Goku here?" Baba nodded knowingly. "Simple. Goku trained under my brother Roshi and far surpassed him. He's fought in the World Martial Arts Tournament, came in second, and wiped out a criminal group called the Red Ribbon Army by himself." Makarov blinked, stunned. He studied the boy again, amazed. "That's remarkable. How old are you, lad?" 13, I think," Goku answered, counting on his fingers before nodding confidently. Baba sighed and rubbed her temples. "Brains clearly skipped a generation," she muttered. "Still, that's impressive," Makarov said thoughtfully. "Urza's age, raw potential, and strength, perhaps fate was at play." "So tell me, Baba," he continued. "If he's already this skilled, what more can he gain here?" Baba smirked. "Plenty. For a fighter like him, there's always room to grow, and training among mages might teach him a thing or two before the next tournament." She arched an eyebrow. "Unless Fairy Tail's title as the strongest guild in Fior is just for show." Makarov's eye twitched, though he stayed composed. "Still holds true, I assure you," he replied calmly. He then turned to Goku with a kind smile. "So Goku, do you wish to continue growing stronger, as Baba said?" Goku grinned, fire in his eyes. "Yeah, Master Roshi told me to learn more about the world. And if staying here helps me do that, then I'm all for it." Makarov studied Goku's intense stare for a few quiet seconds. The unwavering determination burning in the boy's eyes stirred something inside him. It was oddly reminiscent of the Fire Dragon Slayer he had welcomed into the guild the previous year. Ever since that day, Fairy Tail had never been quite the same, and now he sensed that Goku might usher in a similar change. "So be it. I can't ignore that fire of resolve I see in you, lad," Makarov finally said with a small grin. He gave Goku a cheerful thumbs up. "That's exactly the spirit of a fairy tale wizard." Goku's ears twitched in surprise. "Wait, really? Does that mean—" Before he could finish, Makarov stood up, stepping forward to extend his hand with warmth and pride. "Yes, welcome to the family, Goku," he declared. Overflowing with joy, Goku grabbed his hand and shook it vigorously. "Aw yeah. Thanks, old dude." Goku laughed, unknowingly shaking Makarov so hard that the old man was lifted off the ground. "Knock it off, Goku, you'll launch him through the roof," Baba yelled. Realizing his mistake, Goku stopped at once and let go, chuckling sheepishly. "Oops, sorry about that. Guess I got a little carried away," he admitted, scratching the back of his head. Dizzy, Makarov steadied himself using his desk before managing to sit back down. It's Master Makarov, Goku. Or just Master," he corrected with a weary sigh. "But before I make your membership official, there are a few things you should understand." "Like what?" "First off, you need to know how magic functions here in Earthland, specifically on the continent of Ishgar," Makarov began, folding his hands behind his back, his tone turning scholarly. "Magic is a mystical energy that flows through nearly everything in the world. Long ago, people feared it, but over time, it's become part of everyday life," he explained. "Only about 10% of the population can harness magic. It takes intense focus to control one's magic power. The rest are ordinary folks. Those who can wield it use magical particles called ether nano to fuel their spells. However, every wizard has a limited amount of ether nano. Once it runs out, we're powerless until we naturally absorb more from the air." He paused to check Goku's expression. To his dismay, the boy looked completely lost. Makarov sighed. "You're keeping up right, Goku?" Sorta. Sounds kinda like Kai except for that air-breathing thing," Goku replied with a puzzled tilt of his head. "Like Kai, you say? Interesting. Care to explain?" Makarov asked, intrigued. He'd heard the term from Baba but never quite understood it. "Well, in my world, Kai's something that lives inside everyone and everything. Only a few can train hard enough to use it in fights, kinda like how your wizards use magic." Goku said thoughtfully. Baba nodded. Exactly. Kai and magic share similarities. They can both take on elemental forms like fire or lightning. After leaving Earthland, I even managed to restore my ether nano by mixing it with Kai. Makarov stroked his mustache. Fascinating, I never imagined the two could blend together. Trust me, it wasn't easy, Baba scoffed. Took me ages to awaken enough Kai for that. Goku here knows how long that sort of training can take. Yeah. I unlocked mine after copying Master Roshi's Kamehameha back at Fire Mountain, Goku said casually. Kamehameha? Makarov echoed, intrigued. The Kamehameha wave. It's an energy attack my younger brother invented for his martial arts school. Goku learned it under him, Baba explained. Makarov looked impressed. You've come a long way, Goku. Your teacher must be proud. Hee, thanks. I'd like to think so, Goku said, smiling. Well then, the next step is to see if you can awaken your ether nano and magic power, if your Kai truly works with it, Makarov advised. My own magic, huh? Not sure where to even start, Goku admitted, rubbing his chin. In my experience, sharpening both your body and mind is key. The more time you spend here, the more your spirit will sync with this world's flow, Makarov replied. Goku nodded thoughtfully. Baba added, it's easier than it sounds. Just keep training and watch for changes. There's also a chance you're one of the 90% who can't use magic, so don't get your hopes too high. That last part made Goku uneasy. Wait, if I can't use magic, won't I be kicked out? Relax, Makarov reassured. You're already a member of Fairy Tail. Magic or not, this will always be your home. I gave you and Baba my word. That eased Goku's worries a great deal. By the way, Makarov asked curiously, did you ever deal with magic in your own world before meeting Baba? Oh yeah, plenty, Goku said eagerly, pulling out his red staff. My power pole's magic, it can extend and shrink at will. Here, let me show you, he said excitedly, setting it down and gripping it tightly. Wait, don't you dare, Baba began, but it was too late. Power pole, extend, Goku shouted. The staff glowed red and shot upward, smashing straight through the ceiling as it stretched endlessly. Goku blinked at the gaping hole above him. Oh, guess I overdid it again, he laughed weakly. You think, Baba huffed. Goku quickly retracted the power pole and put it away. Makarov glanced at the ruined ceiling, half exasperated and half impressed. Great, more repairs, he muttered. He's going to fit right in with Natsu and Gray. Still, he couldn't deny the power pole's potential. That weapon of yours might work well with Holder magic someday. Holder magic, Goku echoed. Ah, right, magic is divided into two main types, Makarov explained. Caster magic comes directly from the body, like Kai, while holder magic requires tools or items. You could channel magic into your power pole and maybe learn new spells through it. Goku's eyes lit up. That's awesome, thanks, Makarov. My pleasure, Makarov said warmly. Is there anything else magical you've come across? Well, there's my flying nimbus, but the biggest thing, the Dragon Balls, Goku said seriously. Makarov immediately noticed the shift in tone. The Dragon Balls, you say? They're 7 orange orbs marked with red stars that show their number. When all are brought together, a mighty eternal dragon called Shenron emerges, capable of granting any wish imaginable. From reviving the dead to granting endless youth or even global domination, there's almost nothing beyond its power, Baba explained clearly yet concisely. Makarov's jaw dropped in astonishment. I never imagined something so incredible existed. A dragon that can actually grant wishes? That's beyond anything I've heard of in Earthland. Same here. I was just as shocked when I first learned about them. What's crazier is that they've only been around Earth for about 280 years, yet their influence is massive, Baba replied with a sigh. Luckily, the Dragon Balls do have boundaries. Once a wish is fulfilled, they become stone and won't reactivate until a year has passed. Yep, that's right. I've got the 4-star ball with me, Goku said enthusiastically, pulling a stone orb from his pocket and holding it out for Makarov to see. The old wizard leaned closer, carefully inspecting it. Much smaller than I imagined, so have you actually used these Dragon Balls before? Twice, actually, Goku said with a grin. The first time, I met some great friends while searching for them. This blue-skinned guy named Emperor Pilaf wanted to make a wish, but my buddy Oolong ended up wishing for a pair of women's underwear instead. Goku chuckled at the memory. though the end of that adventure was a blur to him even now. Makarov couldn't help but smirk. Ha, that oolong fellow sounds like quite the character. Baba's expression twisted in disgust. Apparently, some old men shared the same crude humor across worlds. He's literally a pig, you fool, Baba muttered irritably. HMPH, my point still stands, Makarov said without shame. And what happened the second time, Goku? That was during my fight with the Red Ribbon Army. Their leader planned to use the Dragon Balls to rule the world, but I stopped them before they could. My friend Yupa's dad was killed by one of them, so after battling in Baba's tournament, I collected all the balls again and wished him back to life, Goku summarized. Makarov felt genuine admiration hearing that. Goku's compassion and determination perfectly aligned with fairy tale's ideals. To him, everyone in the guild was family, and Goku fit right in. I can't help but wonder if our first guild master had a heart like yours, Makarov thought with a faint smile, deciding to keep Bardock's identity hidden for now. Knowing that you've saved the world twice is enough for me, Makarov said warmly as he stood up. Now, let's introduce you to everyone in Fairy Tail. Sound good? You bet it does. I can't wait, Goku replied with his trademark grin. Haha, I'm sure they'll be just as thrilled, Makarov chuckled. They started toward the door, but Goku suddenly turned back to Baba. Oh, before I forget, could you give me some new clothes? This outfit's super itchy from all that shoe guy's fur. Of course. Hold still, kid, Baba said. She extended her hands, releasing a wave of golden energy that enveloped Goku. In an instant, his attire transformed into his usual orange and blue gi, complete with the turtle school kanji. Ah, that's way better. Thanks, Granny, Goku said, stretching comfortably. Though she normally would have scolded him for that nickname, Baba let it slide this time. You're welcome, Goku, but it's time for us to part ways now, she said gently. Goku's smile dimmed a bit. So I guess this is goodbye, he asked sadly. Baba floated closer and patted his shoulder. Don't look so down, kid. I'll check in on you again in a few months. It'll take a while before I can use dimensional magic again, so hang tight, she promised. Goku nodded. Got it. Say hi to everyone for me, Baba. I will. Take care, Goku. She turned to Makarov with a stern look. And you make sure this boy is looked after. He's special. Don't worry. He's in good hands here in Fairy Tail, Makarov vowed sincerely. Good. And tell poor Lucica I said hello, Baba added as her crystal ball shimmered and her palace's projection reappeared inside it. You know she'll be annoyed you didn't visit her yourself, Makarov said. Poor Lucica rarely tolerated humans, but Baba was one of the few exceptions, her former mentor no less. Heh, that's your headache, not mine, Baba teased. Makarov sighed, already dreading that conversation. Oh hoi, 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 poi, Baba chanted before vanishing into her glowing crystal orb in a burst of light. Bye, Baba, Goku waved enthusiastically as the light faded. Only he and Makarov remained in the office now. Looking down, Goku realized he was officially alone in this strange world. But Makarov's comforting hand on his shoulder eased that feeling. Come along, Goku. Let's go meet the rest, Makarov said kindly. Yeah, let's go, Goku replied with a small but hopeful smile. Makarov opened the door and gestured for him to follow. As they walked toward the dining hall, Goku asked curiously, Hey, Master, who's poor Lucica? An old friend of mine. But it's not the best time to visit her. She doesn't like company, Makarov advised. Goku considered asking more but, noticing Makarov's tone, decided to drop it. Making new friends in the guild seemed far more exciting. The Fairy Tail Hall had grown quiet since Goku and Baba disappeared into the office. Once the awkward silence faded, whispers began to spread. Members speculated wildly about where the two had come from. Some thought Goku was a spy from Phantom Lord, while others claimed he was Makarov's secret grandson with Baba. None of the rumors could explain how the glowing crystal sphere dropped them into the guild. A lacrima, maybe, but that only raised more questions. At one particular table, the younger members focused entirely on Goku himself. Natsu, Gray, Urza, Kana, and a blue-haired girl wearing a necklace sat together. The girl was Levi McGarden, the guild's newest recruit. Urza sat at the center, her expression serious. Does anyone else find this Son Goku kid suspicious? She asked. I dunno, he seemed all right to me, Natsu said with a shrug. He could tell Goku was strong, especially with that staff on his back. Don't be an idiot, Natsu. A random kid popping out of a glowing orb isn't something we should just trust, Gray said sharply, glaring toward Makarov's office. Hey, I'm just saying, he smiled and everything. That's friendly enough, Natsu argued. Natsu might have a point. Master did mention that old lady had been here before. Maybe she's connected to the guild somehow, Levy suggested thoughtfully. Gray frowned. Or maybe she's hiding something. For all we know, she's dangerous. Heh, lighten up, Ice Princess. You're too uptight, Natsu taunted with a grin. Gray immediately stood up, eyes blazing. You got a problem with that flame brain? Yeah. Whatcha gonna do, freeze me a little? Natsu shot back. Before things could explode, Urza slammed her palm on the table firm but not harsh. The sharp sound made both boys freeze mid-argument. That's enough from both of you. Sit down and be quiet, Urza barked. The two troublemakers quickly obeyed, knowing better than to challenge her temper. Even so, they continued to glare daggers at each other, much to Kaina's exasperation. You two seriously need therapy or something, Kaina muttered with a sigh. Natsu tilted his head, completely lost. Huh, what's the Magic Council got to do with that? He asked, confusion plain on his face. Everyone, including Urza, groaned and facepalmed at his cluelessness. Not that kind of counseling, Natsu, Urza said tiredly. She took a deep breath, folding her hands together. Personally, I don't think Goku's dangerous, but like Gray mentioned, I can't say I trust him completely yet. We don't know enough about him or why he decided to join Fairy Tale of all guilds. Kaina shrugged. That's not so mysterious, really. We Asterisk are the strongest guild in Fior. Maybe he just wants to grow stronger here. Judging from his outfit and build, he looks like a real fighter. She added with a sly grin, part of her couldn't help but find his goofy grin strangely cute. That could make sense. Still, if that's the case, why sneak in instead of walking through the door like everyone else? Levy asked curiously. Maybe he wanted to make a cool entrance, Natsu guessed, scratching his cheek. Urza rested her chin on her hand, deep in thought. Goku had definitely made an impression, though whether it was good or bad remained to be seen. Ultimately, Master Makarov would have the final say. Despite his questionable habits, he'd proven time and again to be a wise judge of character. After all, he was the one who'd taken in Natsu back in X777. For now, we'll just have to wait for the Master's verdict, Urza said softly. Moments later, the door to Makarov's office opened, silencing the guild hall instantly. Every eye turned toward the small old man as he stepped forward, Goku following closely behind. Urza noticed Baba was nowhere in sight. She's gone already. Maybe she teleported away, Urza mused. Goku now wore a different gi. This one looked more like traditional martial arts attire, fitting for a fighter. Standing before the crowd, Goku rubbed the back of his neck nervously. He'd fought in front of cheering audiences before, but this kind of silent scrutiny was far more awkward. Makarov offered him a warm, fatherly smile before addressing everyone. Listen up, everyone. I've got an important announcement to make. Some of you might find it a little hard to believe. He paused before continuing. This boy, Son Goku, isn't from Earthland. He comes from a different world entirely, a parallel planet also called Earth, similar but distinct in many ways. The room collectively gasped at the revelation. Another planet? Such a thing actually exists, Urza thought, wide-eyed. The fact that Baba's magic could cross between worlds unsettled her, but it also explained Goku's strange arrival. Natsu's eyes widened too, but for another reason. Maybe that's where Ignil went, he thought hopefully. Ever since the dragon vanished, he'd been desperate for any clue. If other worlds existed, maybe his father had gone there. While magic does exist where Goku's from, Makarov went on, it's much less common. Instead, the people there use something called Chi Asterisk, a form of life energy. With training, they can harness it for attacks and bursts of power. Think of it as a counterpart to our ether nano. Urza raised a brow, intrigued by the concept of Chi. She wondered how its strength compared to magic, and how her requip spells would fare against it. And according to Baba, Makarov continued, despite only being 13, Goku's already saved his world twice in just 1 year. He even single-handedly defeated an entire army. The old man's words drew collective gasps. Goku rubbed the back of his head modestly. Heh, I guess that's one way to put it. Many of the guild members stared at him in disbelief. The cheerful, clueless kid standing before them didn't look like someone who could topple armies. Still, if Makarov vouched for him, maybe there was more to him than met the eye. See, Gray. The kid's some kind of hero back home, Natsu smirked, nudging him. I'll believe it when I see it, Gray muttered, averting his gaze. Urza, on the other hand, looked at Goku with newfound respect. The idea that someone her age could be that powerful fascinated her. A duel between them might be the best way to see his true strength. Makarov closed his eyes and exhaled slowly. Now then, Goku has asked to train with us for the next 3 years, in preparation for a martial arts tournament. I've decided to grant his request, even though he doesn't possess magic power. He gestured toward the boy proudly. Everyone, please welcome the newest member of Fairy Tail, Son Goku. The guild erupted with cheers. Whatever doubts they had vanished as the room filled with voices shouting, "Welcome, Goku." Goku grinned and gave a thumbs up. Haha, thanks, everyone. I'm really excited to be here. Pleased, Makarov turned to the bar where a tan-skinned woman with violet eyes and dark purple hair stood. She wore an orange bikini top and matching skirt with a pink wreath in her hair. Eno, would you do the honors and give Goku his guild mark? He asked kindly. Eno smiled warmly. Of course, master. I'll grab the stamp right now, she said, rummaging through a drawer. Goku leaned closer to Makarov, puzzled. What's a guild mark, old man? He whispered. It's a symbol stamped on you to show you're one of us, Makarov explained, pointing to his own shirt. As long as you remain a member, it stays there, but if you ever leave, it can be removed. Oh, got it, Goku nodded, watching as Eno approached with the stamp in hand. Hey there, cutie, name's Eno. Nice to meet our newest member, she said with a teasing wink. Goku chuckled awkwardly. It's nice to meet you too, Eno, he replied politely. Where do you want it and what color? She asked. Goku glanced at Makarov's shirt, then at his own wristbands and shoes. Blue, please, and put it on my right shoulder, he said brightly. You got it, sweetheart. Eno laughed, pressing the stamp gently onto his shoulder. A bright blue fairy tale emblem appeared there, marking him as one of their own. Goku rubbed his shoulder curiously. Wow, it doesn't even feel like it's there. Thanks, Eno. Anytime, darling. If you ever need anything, just ask, she winked before returning to serve drinks. That mark suits you, Goku, Makarov said proudly. Cherish it while you're part of our family. I will, master. I already like how it looks, Goku said, flexing his arm to show it off. Haha, I'm glad to hear it, Makarov laughed. And it seems Eno's taken quite a liking to you. She's not usually that friendly. Really? I thought she was just being nice, Goku said innocently. That too, Makarov sighed. But trust me, she doesn't act that way with everyone. Across the room, Macau sulked at his table, clearly dejected that his crush was giving all her attention to the new kid. His buddy Wakaba patted him sympathetically on the back, puffing his pipe and hiding his amusement behind dark sunglasses. Makarov exhaled softly and gave a small shake of his head. Anyway, Goku, I'd like you to meet my youngest members. I think you'll get along with them quite nicely. Goku's face lit up, excited at the thought of meeting wizards closer to his age. Makarov guided him toward a nearby table where several kids were seated. All right, everyone, I want you to introduce yourselves to Goku. He'll be staying with us for the next 3 years, so it's best you all get acquainted early, Makarov said in a calm but firm voice. Of course, master, we'd be glad to, Urza responded respectfully. She turned toward Goku and extended her hand. Hi, Goku, I'm Before she could finish, Natsu shoved past her with his usual enthusiasm, earning an instant glare from the redhead. Yo, what's up, man? I'm Natsu Dragneel. You wouldn't happen to have seen a dragon named Igneel around, would? Ow. Natsu's question was cut off by Urza's fist slamming down on his head. Both Goku and Makarov winced at the sound. You can't just blurt things like that to someone you just met, idiot, she snapped. Rubbing his sore scalp, Natsu muttered, Sorry, ma'am. HMPH. Urza crossed her arms, clearly annoyed. As I was saying, my name is Urza Scarlet. I've been part of Fairy Tail for 5 years now, and it's a pleasure to meet new faces. Scarlet, like your hair? Goku asked innocently. For a moment, Urza froze. Memories of the Tower of Heaven and the day Jello gave her that surname flickered in her mind. But now wasn't the time to discuss her past with a stranger. You could say that, she replied softly. I think it fits you well, Goku said sincerely. Urza allowed herself a small smile. Thank you, that means a lot. Makarov smiled quietly, pleased to see the two getting along. These are Gray Fullbuster, Kana Alberona, and Levi McGarden, Urza continued, pointing to each of them in turn before motioning at Natsu. And you've already met Natsu. Yo, Gray greeted casually. Hi, Goku. It's nice to meet you, Levi added cheerfully. Hey there, I hope we can be friends soon, Kana said shyly, twirling a strand of her hair. Goku waved back. Nice meeting you all. Sorry if I surprised you showing up like this. It's fine, Levi said with a friendly grin. You seem like someone we can trust. Still gotta see what this Kai stuff of yours is about, Gray remarked, folding his arms. That's fair, Goku replied. I'm just as curious about your magic. We all have different specialties, Urza explained. You'll learn more when you start going on missions with us. Makarov, who had been listening thoughtfully, suddenly got an idea. His eyes wandered toward the nearby request board. In that case, Urza, would you mind showing Goku around the guild? That includes explaining the request board and a few other important things, Makarov suggested. Urza hesitated for a second. I'd do it myself, but there's paperwork piling up again, and I'd rather not get another visit from the Magic Council, Makarov said, shuddering at the thought. Urza sighed but nodded. All right, I suppose I can handle that. Thank you, my dear, Makarov said gratefully. Thanks for everything today, Master, Goku said brightly. No thanks needed, my boy. If you've got questions about magic, Earthland, or training, don't hesitate to ask. With that, Makarov turned and trudged back toward his desk, muttering something about paperwork ruining his fun. Once he was gone, Urza faced Goku, her hands on her hips. All right then, let's begin. As Master said, I'll explain how the request board works, she said, motioning for him to follow. Got it, Goku replied, walking beside her. Back at the table, Natsu groaned. Awa, I wanted to ask Goku for a fight. Gray, Levi, and Kana burst out laughing. I'm serious, Natsu barked, pouting as he sat back down, watching Goku leave with Urza. He could already feel the spark of rivalry igniting in his gut. At the request board, Goku examined the wall of papers curiously. It was a large wooden frame covered in colorful posters and handwritten notes, each detailing a mission and its reward. He noticed that some offered much higher pay than others. Urza cleared her throat, breaking his focus. Ahem. Oh, sorry, Urza, I was just looking at how much some of these pay, he admitted sheepishly. That's quite all right. Everyone's drawn to the big numbers when they first see it, Urza said with a small smile. So these jobs, that's what they're called, right? Goku asked, pointing to the flyers. That's correct. Mages take on jobs from the request board to help clients in need. Once the task is done, we're paid in jewel, which is Fior's main currency, Urza explained patiently. Oh, so jewel's basically your world's version of money. Yes, though other regions have their own forms of currency as well, she said. Interesting. Back where I'm from, the whole world was one big land ruled by a single king. My master used to call him King Furry, Goku said thoughtfully. Urza blinked, intrigued. A single ruler over an entire world? Fascinating. Yeah, and everyone used something called zeni instead of jewel, Goku added. Urza tilted her head, trying to imagine such a world. With one king and one currency, I'd think there wouldn't be much conflict. Goku shook his head. Not exactly. There were still a lot of bad people. The Red Ribbon Army especially, they were real trouble. He clenched his fists at the memory. Master mentioned you took them down on your own, didn't he? Urza asked. Yeah. There were hundreds of them, and their boss even fought me in a giant metal suit, Goku said, recalling the intense battle. Urza wasn't sure what he meant by that, but she assumed his world's technology must be far more advanced than Fior's. Still, it's impressive you faced all that at your age, Urza said, clearly impressed. Actually, I just turned 13 a few days ago, Goku replied with a grin. Even more amazing, Urza chuckled. You're stronger than most adults I know. Heh, thanks, you seem pretty strong yourself, Goku said, sensing her magic power. Urza smiled slightly. You'll find out soon enough. HMPH. You'll find out soon enough, I suppose. Urza mumbled with a smirk before brushing her hair aside and returning her gaze to the request board. Anyway, she continued, your payment depends on both the job's rank and level of danger. She motioned toward the different sections on the board. Because of that, jobs are divided into 5 main categories. Normal jobs, S-class jobs, SS-class jobs, 10-year jobs, and 100-year jobs. Most of the last four are only posted upstairs. As she listed them, Goku noticed how the reward amounts increased with each rank. What do you mean by S-class jobs, Urza? Goku asked curiously. They're missions reserved for S-class wizards, mages recognized for their incredible power and skill, Urza explained. Only they're capable of handling such perilous tasks, some of which could even cost your life. Whoa, that's awesome. Are there any people like that here in Fairy Tail? Goku said eagerly. Other than the master himself, only two. One's been gone on a long mission. The rest of us are still aiming for that rank. Makarov's grandson, Laxus, plans to take the S-class exam later this year, she informed him. Wait, Gramps has a grandson? Goku blinked in surprise. He does. Laxus travels with his team, the Thunder Legion. You'll meet them soon enough, along with his father, Ivan, the second S-class wizard I mentioned. He's away on business for now. Goku tried to keep track of the names, though he only grasped the basics of what Urza said. So, they're all super strong, huh? Goku grinned. Urza rolled her eyes. Yes, Goku. They're all powerful in their own ways, especially Laxus and his father, she replied with a sigh. Hearing that, Goku clenched his fist in excitement. Can't wait to meet them all. Right. I'm sure you can't, Urza said dryly. So, what about the other job types? Goku pressed. Not much else to explain, she replied. SS-class missions are even harder than S-class ones, while 10-year and 100-year jobs are on a completely different level. The 100-year jobs have existed for decades, yet no one has ever succeeded. Many who tried never made it back alive. Goku's eyes lit up, completely missing the warning in her tone. That sounds like fun. Maybe I'll try one of those someday, he laughed. Urza's expression twitched before she smacked him across the head. Idiot, were you even listening? Ow, you didn't need to hit me that hard. Goku groaned, rubbing the sore spot. You shouldn't take those jobs so lightly, Urza scolded. Plenty of mages far more experienced than you have died attempting them. Got it? Yeah, I got it, Goku muttered, glancing down. Once satisfied that he understood, Urza's tone softened a bit. Good. For now, I suggest picking a normal job from this board. Have either NO or Master Makarov approve it, and you're set. I know you're strong, but you'll need smaller missions to earn your keep, and to afford food. At the mention of food, Goku's stomach growled so loudly that everyone in the guild turned their heads. Speaking of which, I'm kinda starving, he admitted sheepishly, rubbing his belly. Urza sighed. Really? Can't this wait until after the tour? Goku shook his head. Nope, I haven't eaten since Baba sent me here. Assuming that meant only a few hours, Urza folded her arms. Fine, I'll show you to the bar and kitchen then. They made their way back to the guild's bar area, where Urza pointed out its features as they sat. For the older members, this place is for relaxing. The foods prepared in the kitchen by NO, our guild's waitress. She also handles job approvals when the master's busy. Spotting NO nearby, Urza raised her hand. The cheerful waitress walked over with a smile. What can I get you too? She asked. Goku's hungry, Urza said, motioning toward him. Put whatever he orders on my tab. Goku blinked. The last time someone offered to pay for him was Master Roshi. You sure? You might regret that I eat a lot. It's fine, Urza said kindly. Consider it a welcome gift. I've got more than enough jewels saved up. Goku beamed. That's awesome. Thanks, Urza. Urza smiled before turning back to NO. I'll have my usual strawberry cake, been craving it for ages. Coming right up, NO said cheerfully. She then looked at Goku. And what about you, handsome? Anything you want. She handed him a menu. Goku skimmed through it before grinning widely. I'll take a bit of everything. Everyone nearby froze in disbelief. What did you just say? Urza stuttered, staring at him in horror. You can't be serious. Totally serious, Goku said confidently. Told you not to underestimate how hungry I get. That's insane. No one can eat that much, you'd explode like a balloon, Urza exclaimed. Then I guess I'll just help him out, another voice interjected. Turning around, they found Natsu smirking with his arms crossed. Oh boy, here we go, Gray muttered, already dreading what would happen next. Not now, Natsu, Urza warned. Come on, hear me out. Since Goku wants to stuff himself, I've got a challenge for him, Natsu declared proudly. What kind of challenge? Goku asked, intrigued. As one big eater to another, I challenge you to an eating contest. If you win, I'll split the bill with Urza. But if I win, flames flared around Natsu's fists as he grinned fiercely. You'll have to fight me one-on-one in front of everyone here. Deal. Goku's grin widened. Deal, sounds fun. Nice, Natsu said, giving a thumbs up. Let's grab a table and get started. The two sat across from each other, while Levi, Kana, and Gray filled the nearby seats. Urza sighed heavily and followed them. Wonderful, now I've got two gluttonous idiots to babysit, she muttered before taking a seat between them. And oh, bring me that cake, I have a feeling I'll need it soon. Not a problem. I'll just, start with everything else first, I guess, the waitress said uncertainly. She quickly shook it off, flashing a smile at the two kids. This might take a little while, so you two relax and chat for a bit. Before she could make her way to the kitchen, Macau appeared in front of her, looking oddly determined. He cleared his throat, scratching the back of his spiky blue hair. Ahem. Need a hand with the cooking, N.O.? N.O. blinked a couple of times, trying to remember his name. She'd served him countless times at the guild, but he tended to blend in with all the guys who'd tried flirting with her before. Aw, that's sweet of you, Marco, but I can just use my magic to speed things up. Thanks anyway. N.O. giggled, waving him off as she turned to head into the kitchen, leaving Macau visibly deflated. It's Macau, but yeah, sure, he mumbled, shoulders sagging as Wakaba patted him on the back with a sigh. At least you gave it a shot, buddy, Wakaba said. The others could only watch the scene in quiet amusement, wondering why Macau hadn't just asked her out already. Goku and Natsu, however, didn't care much. They were too focused on the food and the possibility of a fight. Completely unaware of Macau's sulking, N.O. flipped open her recipe book and began to dance. Her bare feet glided over the wooden floorboards, sending the pink petals from her floral wreath floating into the air. The petals whirled together in groups, forming miniature clusters that began preparing food and stirring pots all at once. The longer she moved, the smoother and more controlled her magic became. Dishes were being plated, ovens filled, and sauces stirred in perfect rhythm. Her ability to cook so effortlessly while dancing was proof of her skill as a fairy tale mage. It also caused most of the men, Macau included, to gawk at her like lovesick fools. Her rhythmic movements didn't exactly help their concentration. Goku, on the other hand, was genuinely intrigued by her magic. It was something entirely new to him. So, what kind of magic does N.O. use? He asked the group curiously. It's a type of dancer magic known as hula dancer, Urza explained. She channels her energy through dance, controlling flower petals from her wreath. It's handy for cooking and bar work, but it has combat applications as well. What kind of combat uses? Goku pressed. For starters, her dancing boosts the morale and power of nearby allies. The petals can also harden into sharp thorns, Urza said. Still, she rarely goes on missions, so no one really knows her full combat potential. You'd have to ask her yourself. Got it, I'll keep that in mind, Goku replied. Natsu yawned and propped his legs on the table. Doesn't sound that impressive, just some fancy dancing. Hearing that, N.O. shot him a playful glare over her shoulder. Careful what you say, Natsu. I'm the one making your meal, she teased, her tone carrying a mild threat. Judging by her pace, she was already halfway done. Oh, maybe I should have kept quiet, Natsu muttered, scratching his head. Would have saved everyone a lot of noise if you did, flame brain, Gray teased with a grin. Yeah, at least I know how to wear clothes in public, Natsu shot back. Goku chuckled before glancing at the others. Speaking of magic, what kind do you all use? I'm curious. Heh, like I'd spoil the surprise, Natsu smirked, wagging his finger. You'll just have to see for yourself when we fight. If that fight actually happens, Kana chimed in, pulling out her deck of cards. Anyway, I use magic card, a holder-type magic. Each card I draw produces a spell or element, and sometimes I can combine them. I can even do a little fortune-telling on the side. That sounds awesome, Kana. You've got to show me that later, Goku said with genuine excitement. Hee, sure thing, she replied with a grin. He turned to Levi, noticing how small she was compared to the others. What about you? I use letter magic. Basically, I write words infused with my own ether nano to manifest their effects. Like this, she said, writing fire in glowing letters midair. Instantly, they burst into actual flames. See, solid script. Fire, Goku watched in awe until Natsu leaned over and gulped down the fiery letters like a snack. Ah, thanks for the appetizer, Levi. Natsu burped out, smoke escaping his mouth. Goku tried to ask how that was even possible, but Gray stopped him. Don't bother. It's a fire dragon slayer thing, Gray said casually. Anyway, I use ice make magic. It lets me mold ice into all kinds of weapons or creations depending on how much power I've got. Cool, Goku said with a grin, clearly looking forward to seeing it in action. What about you, Urza? Like I said before, Goku, you'll find out when we fight, she replied, eyes narrowing in challenge. I'd like to face you myself, you seem like a worthy opponent. Goku's smirk matched hers. Out of everyone here, Urza was definitely someone he wanted to test himself against. A girl who actually enjoyed fighting was rare and refreshing. Can't wait, Urza. I'll give it everything I've got, Goku said confidently. Excellent. But first you have another challenge, she said, pointing toward the bar. Goku turned and his eyes sparkled. At that exact moment, Enno's petals gracefully delivered plate after plate of food in front of him and Natsu. Steaks, burgers, noodles, salads, and every other item from the menu filled the counter. Within minutes, both boys had mountains of food before them. Panting, Enno finished her dance and let the petals return to her wreath in a flash of pink light. She sighed, wiping her brow and tossing her purple hair back, earning a not-so-subtle grin from Macau. Hugh, that was a workout, she said, stretching before picking up a plate with a slice of strawberry cake. Here's your dessert, Urza. She set it down with a warm smile. And for you too, hope you enjoy. I put my whole heart into this. Oh, I will, especially when I beat Goku to it. Natsu laughed, rubbing his hands together. Everything looks amazing, Enno. Goku said eagerly, reaching for a plate, only for her to smack his hand. Hold it, you can't eat yet, Enno scolded lightly. She glanced at the clock above the guild entrance. You've got 15 minutes to finish it all. Sound fair? Everyone in the guild stared at her like she'd lost her mind. Did she realize how much food that was? 15 minutes. No one could finish all that in time, Wakaba exclaimed. Well, Goku did order the entire menu, Enno said with a knowing smirk. And we all know Natsu's appetite. 15 minutes, that's plenty of time for me, Goku said, stretching. Wakaba just stared, wondering if this guy was even human. Why yeah, point taken, he muttered, lighting another cigarette. Enno clapped her hands once, standing between the two boys. All right then, first one to clear their plates before time runs out wins, got it? Yeah, I think so, Goku replied with a nod. Come on, let's get this started. I'm starving over here, Natsu complained. Seeing both kids practically dripping saliva in anticipation, Enno wriggled nervously and decided it was time to officially begin the countdown. All right then. On your marks, get set. Enno paused for effect, raising her arm before swiftly bringing it down. Eat! At her command, chaos erupted instantly. Goku and Natsu attacked their plates with ferocious determination, flinging scraps of food and shards of dishes in all directions. They swallowed massive portions whole, a turkey in one gulp, so they could move on to the next plate without hesitation. Slurps, belches, and crunches echoed throughout the hall, making most observers recoil. And astonishingly, only a minute had passed since the contest began. Enno stared in disbelief. She had known Goku had a large appetite, but this was on another level entirely. It was both shocking and a little horrifying. She wasn't sure she could handle watching it much longer. Meanwhile, Macau's eyes had grown comically wide. He never imagined witnessing someone who could rival Natsu in sheer consumption. It was a surreal moment he would probably treasure for years, especially after he and Enno had a family someday. Macau glanced over at a tall, slender man seated at an easel, dressed in a white long-sleeved shirt and black pants, with poofy brown hair and a witch's hat trimmed in gold. The man had paints and brushes at the ready before a blank canvas. He nudged the painter and whispered, Hey, Rietis, you might want to capture this. Rietis Jonah, a specialist in picked magic painting, nodded simply. Oui. He adjusted his easel and tried to depict the scene unfolding. It wasn't easy. Goku and Natsu moved too fast. By the 5-minute mark, they'd already consumed half their food with no sign of slowing. Meanwhile, everyone else ducked or dodged flying crumbs and splatters. Poor Levi and Kana even had to hide under the table to avoid the mess. Urza, however, was lost in her own blissful bubble. Despite her wallet taking a hit, she was too absorbed in the sweetness of her strawberry cake to care. So good, she thought dreamily, cheeks flushed as she savored bite after bite. Her delight ended abruptly when bits of food splattered onto her face and armor. Frowning, she set down her fork, glaring at the ravenous duo. Goku kept a steady, relentless pace, while Natsu began to falter. His small frame now looked inflated, his stomach awkwardly spilling out of his shirt. He groaned in discomfort. "No, I can't stop, I have to keep eating," Natsu panted, reaching for the last chicken drumstick. "Okay, bottoms up," he murmured weakly, managing to fit the entire leg in his mouth. He soon froze, eyes bulging, before collapsing face first onto the table, drool escaping as he groaned even louder. Goku, in contrast, showed no signs of fatigue. With a satisfied grin, he devoured the remaining food, including Natsu's, and then belched, rubbing his swollen stomach in contentment. No, dumbfounded by Goku's insatiable appetite, glanced at the clock. Wow, 15 minutes was way too long for him. He finished everything with 7 minutes to spare. She smiled and patted him on the back, while Natsu remained slumped in his post-meal daze. "Well, looks like you win, Goku. Congrats!" No cheered. The guild members weren't sure whether to clap or call a doctor, but they clapped anyway. Goku simply held up an empty bowl. "Mind if I get some more?" he asked cheerfully, leaving everyone, including No, in disbelief. "You want more after all that?" Urza exclaimed, still fuming. She had already spent enough of her jewel. "Yeah, don't joke around, man. I already helped pay for this," Natsu hiccuped, slowly rolling away from the table. Goku puffed his cheeks, frustrated. "I'm serious, guys, not a joke." "Don't worry, hun, I can whip up more food for you at dinner," No promised. "Dinner? Fine, I guess I can wait," Goku said reluctantly. No winked and returned to tidy the bar. "This stinks, I was looking forward to that fight," Natsu groaned, stamping his foot. "What fight? Aren't we still going?" Goku asked, oblivious. No, remember the wager? I lose, no fight." "I won, we'd fight, but I lost." Natsu trailed off, disappointed. Goku grinned. "Well, how about we fight anyway? After seeing you eat Levi's fire, I'm curious about your magic." Natsu's eyes lit up. "Seriously? Awesome. Let's go." The two ran for the guild hall entrance, only to be stopped by Urza. "Not so fast, aren't you forgetting something?" she asked, still eating. Natsu shrugged. "Oh, right, thanks for the food, I appreciate." "No, the fight approval," Urza interjected. Natsu waved her off impatiently. Yeah, Gramps' permission is handled," he said, knocking on Makarov's office door with all his might. "Hey, old man, Goku and I want to fight, can we go outside?" Natsu shouted. Makarov slammed the door open, towering with glowing yellow eyes, stomping down on Natsu in anger. "Shut you boy, didn't I say?" He stopped, seeing Fairy Tail in ruins, glass, food, and debris everywhere. What happened?" Makarov cried. He shrank back, surveying the towering piles of plates. Urza calmly explained. "Goku and Natsu had an eating contest to see who could fight. Goku won. That's why the guild is a mess." "And why have the contest at all?" Makarov asked. "To settle if we could fight. Plus, Goku was hungry," Natsu explained excitedly. Makarov stroked his mustache. "I wanted Goku to get familiar with the guild first, but I admit I'm curious about him." He sighed and reluctantly nodded. "Fine, you may fight outside, I can intervene if needed." "Sounds fair," Goku said. "Good. Wait for the guild to follow, then fight," Makarov instructed. Natsu clapped his fists together, signaling Goku to follow. "Let's go, Goku," he cheered. "Right," they exited, eager to test their strength. Both had impressive potential, though Goku clearly had the edge. "I'm going to have my hands full," Makarov muttered. "Yes, but at least they get along," Urza replied. Grace smirked. Surprised. "They're practically the same." "Sure, in attitude and hunger, but their fighting styles will show their differences," Urza noted wisely. With that final thought, Master Makarov pushed the guild doors open and stepped outside. One by one, the rest of Fairy Tail eagerly followed, buzzing with anticipation over Goku's very first battle as a member. If Natsu wasn't able to top him in a food contest, how would he hold up in a straight-up fight against the martial artist? Urza, especially, was keen to find out. This knowledge might prove invaluable for when she faced Goku herself. Magnolia, just outside Fairy Tail in moments, the Fairy Tail wizards had formed a wide circle around Goku and Natsu. No stayed inside tidying up the remnants of their earlier activities, while Mikao, Wakaba, and some of the older guild members watched from one side. Rietis had set up his easel and brush again, ready to capture this fight after his first attempt didn't go as planned. Opposite them, Urza, Gray, and the younger wizards took their places. Levi and Kana were joined by two other kids. One, a 12-year-old boy with spiky orange hair, wearing a purple shirt and black shorts, bouncing lightly in place, and the other, a 12-year-old boy with short black hair, a white t-shirt and green shorts, a small plant tucked into his shirt. These were Jet and Droy, Levi's childhood friends, who had joined Fairy Tail earlier that year. Excitement radiated from every corner, but none more so than Natsu and Goku themselves. They stared at each other with cocky grins, neither daring to look away. Goku could sense that Natsu wasn't inexperienced, though. He was eager to see just what kind of training the Fire Dragon Slayer had undergone, particularly if it involved his fiery, appetite-fueled magic. Makarov stood at the guild entrance, observing quietly. His role was twofold: enjoy the match and ensure that any damage remained minimal. Fairy Tail's budget simply couldn't handle more repairs. "Step back, everyone. These two might need some room," Makarov instructed, and the circle expanded at once. "You ready to see what I can do, Goku?" Natsu asked with a confident smirk. "Absolutely," Goku replied, his grin matching Natsu's. Both took up their stances. Natsu crouched low, fists forward, while Goku adopted the Turtle School's classic pose, one fist at his side, the other in a clawed shape resting by his head, a stance that immediately caught Urza's attention. "That posture," she murmured. "What about it?" Gray asked. "I've never seen anything like it. It's simple, but it seems to guard all his vital points." She analyzed the versatility of Goku's stance. "So it's both defensive and offensive at the same time?" Gray asked, impressed. "Yes, I think that's right." Gray glanced at Natsu with concern. "He has no idea what he's up against. He might still have a chance." "Goku hasn't seen Dragon Slayer magic yet," Urza reminded him, and Gray nodded as they watched silently. The wind tugged at their hair, emphasizing each fighter's stance. Soon, Natsu's body glowed with a fiery aura. Makarov closed his eyes, motionless, then opened them sharply as the wind swept past. "Begin!" he shouted. Instantly, the two sprang forward. Natsu slammed his fists together, forming a red magic circle with a dragon's head at its center. "Time to show what a Fire Dragon Slayer can do, Goku," he shouted. "Fire Dragon!" He inhaled deeply, cheeks puffing as flames gathered in his mouth, hands cupped to focus the energy. "Roar!" Natsu unleashed a massive jet of fire directly at Goku. "Whoa!" Goku exclaimed, drawing the power pole and holding it in front of him. Urza tilted her head. "A staff!" As the fire dragon roar reached him, Goku spun the staff at incredible speed. "Hiya!" he yelled. The flames collided with the spinning pole, being deflected entirely. The attack fizzled out completely. "No way!" Natsu exclaimed, stunned. "I put nearly all my magic power into that." Macau shook his head. Even after advising Natsu on conserving energy, the boy clearly had more to learn. Perhaps this fight would teach him the lesson he needed. "That fire dragon roar looked flashy, but it was too slow. I could see it coming the moment it launched," Goku admitted. Natsu gritted his teeth in frustration. "Not done yet," he shouted, fists igniting with white-hot flames. "Fire Dragon's Iron Fist!" Despite his smaller size, Natsu charged, winding up his punch. Goku, however, simply frowned, noticing that Natsu was already tiring from his earlier attacks. Panting and sweating, the young mage was slowing down. Just as Natsu's fist swung, Goku vanished, leaving him dumbfounded. "Where'd he go?" Natsu yelled, spinning around. The crowd was equally confused, but Makarov knew. This wasn't magic. Goku's speed came from his rigorous martial arts training, months of weighted exercises making his movements nearly invisible. "Remarkable. His movements are so fast they're imperceptible, even to skilled wizards," Makarov noted, spotting fleeting traces of Goku as he flickered in and out of sight. Urza squinted, trying to locate him. "Show yourself already," Natsu yelled impatiently. Goku reappeared behind him, unseen until the last second. Natsu turned, meeting him face to face. "Why you were moving the whole time?" Natsu stammered. Goku smirked and planted the staff into the ground. "Power pole, extend!" The staff shot forward, smashing into Natsu's chin and sending him spinning through the air. He landed with a heavy thud, unconscious, a crater forming beneath his head. Goku withdrew the power pole, wincing at the destruction. Maybe I should have held back a little," he murmured. His display of speed and power left the guild in awe, especially Urza. "That was holding back," she whispered, eyes wide. Jet whistled nervously, while Levi and Droy nodded in agreement. The mages murmured among themselves about Goku's incredible strength, while Makarov stayed silent, reflecting on what he'd witnessed. "Congratulations on the win, Goku. Natsu will appreciate you not going easy on him," Makarov said kindly. Goku looked conflicted. "Thanks, though I feel a little bad for hitting him that hard. He'll be fine, just some rest in the infirmary. Urza can help you carry him," Makarov reassured him, winking at Urza. "Next stop then, help me with him, Goku," Urza instructed, and together they lifted Natsu's battered form. Makarov nodded, guiding the guild back inside. Goku and Urza lingered slightly, carrying Natsu last. The red-headed mage glanced down at his sleeping friend. "You gave it your all, Natsu, but—" She stole a glance at Goku's composed, yet unwavering expression. Beneath that cheerful, carefree exterior was a battle-hardened warrior with vast combat experience. For her, it was both impressive and slightly intimidating. "Goku's clearly operating on a level far above most of us, even me," Urza admitted quietly, a hint of melancholy in her tone. All she could do was push herself to reach that caliber of skill, whether it required Kai or Ether Nano. Once she got there, Goku would face a challenge he hadn't encountered before. Following Makarov's advice, Urza and Goku carefully transported the unconscious Natsu to the guild's infirmary. The room was modest but well-equipped, lined with several beds and a large medical cabinet at the back. Curtains hung between each bed to provide a sense of privacy for anyone recovering. Urza pointed toward a vacant bed. "Place him here, Goku." "Got it." Unfortunately, Goku took her words a bit too literally and ended up tossing Natsu onto the bed. Urza's eyes widened in horror. "Wait, don't just—" Before she could finish, Natsu slid off the mattress and hit the wooden floor with a loud thud. Despite the impact, he barely stirred, twitching slightly but remaining sound asleep. "Oh," Goku winced as a red mark appeared on Natsu's face. Urza let out an exasperated sigh. "Idiot, you need to be more careful with him." "Yeah, I know, my hands just slipped, sorry, Urza." "It's fine. Just pull back the covers for me, please." Goku moved the blue comforter aside, allowing Urza to gently reposition Natsu on the bed. She tucked the covers around him and fluffed the pillow under his head. Seeing him so serene, even in unconsciousness, brought a small, fond smile to her face. "Funny, he can actually look peaceful when he's asleep," Goku remarked. "Well, he wasn't exactly calm after you clocked him across the jaw, but yeah, it is rare to see him like this," Urza teased lightly. "Yeah, I still feel a little guilty for taking him out like that. Maybe a softer tap to the neck would have been smarter." Urza shook her head. "Don't worry. As Master Makarov said, Natsu will respect you for treating him as a worthy opponent. Chances are he'll be challenging you again the moment he wakes up." He chuckled, clenching his fists in excitement. "Heh, you're probably right. I can't wait to see how much stronger he's gotten." Urza brushed a hand over Natsu's cheek as he slept. "Me too," she folded her arms, shooting a determined glare at Goku. Curiosity about his full potential stirred within her as well. "Anyway, let's give Natsu some quiet for now. We still have more of the guild hall to show you," Urza reminded him, resuming her guide role as she gestured around the infirmary. "This is where you can recover if you're seriously injured during a job. Medicine and bandages are in the cabinet over there." Goku nodded, then froze as a sudden thought hit him. There aren't any needles, right?" Urza raised an eyebrow. "Needles? The pointy things doctors poke you with? You know those needles," Goku stammered, shivering slightly at the mention. "Well, yes, there are some, but they're only for emergencies like severe magic deficiencies," Urza replied cautiously. "Why do you ask?" Goku scratched the back of his head, glancing away. "And no reason, just curious about what to avoid, maybe use later, hee." Urza narrowed her eyes, unconvinced by his answer. "All right, let's move on to the next room," she muttered. Behind her, Goku wiped sweat from his forehead, relieved. They left the infirmary and returned to the lunch hall, where several fairy tale mages praised Goku's swift victory over Natsu. "Nice work out there, kid, that was amazing," Wakaba said, raising his mug in respect. Even for a rookie, Natsu's tough. You really know your stuff, Macau added. It wasn't that big a deal, but thanks, Goku laughed. Enough, both of you. Save the praise for later, we're busy, Urza said, continuing on. Wakaba winced. Ah, sorry for interrupting, Your Highness. Urza stopped, glowering at Macau and Wakaba, who immediately shrank back. What was that? She growled. The two men fumbled with their mugs, pretending to drink. And nothing, they muttered. Satisfied, Urza nodded. Follow me, Goku. Goku blinked, taken aback by her intensity. Kinda reminds me of Bulma, he thought. When angry, women seem to become much scarier. They passed Gray, Kana, Levi, Jet, and Droy, who had plenty to say about Goku's skills. Awesome job, Goku. That staff technique against Natsu was amazing, Kana said, her cheeks slightly flushed. Yeah, never seen anything like it, Levi agreed. Forget that his speed was insane, he practically disappeared. Jet exclaimed, pointing at Goku. We need to race sometime. A race? Haven't done that in a while, but sure, why not? Goku grinned. The name's Jet. With my high-speed magic, I'm the fastest in Fairy Tail. Until now, Droy muttered. Shut it, Droy. Let the race decide. Jet jabbed his friend's side. Levi sighed as they bickered. Gray stepped forward. You're strong, Goku. Anyone who can handle Natsu is solid in my book, Gray commented, crossing his arms. He's doing okay, right? Yeah, he just needs rest. He'll bounce back in no time, Urza said with a sly smile. Worried, Gray? Worried me? I'm just checking Goku's strength, Gray said, puffing out his chest, clearly flustered. Sure, whatever you say. Does that mean you want to fight me too? Goku asked eagerly. Maybe, but on my own schedule. Don't want to end up 6 feet under like Natsu, Gray replied. Fair enough. If you change your mind, let me know. I'm curious about your ice make skills. Goku smiled and gave him a thumbs up. Will do, Gray said. Now let's keep moving, Goku, Urza said. Right. Urza led him to the basement, a spacious area with stone flooring, wooden tables, and beams supporting the ceiling. Barrels and crates lined the walls, and a cactus caught Goku's attention. This is the basement, Urza explained. I can see that, Goku said. Not much here, mainly for extra seating if it gets crowded. There's also a request board in the corner for jobs, she added. Goku nodded, exploring the room while keeping an eye on the request board and, curiously, the cactus nearby. So, Urza, how did you end up joining Fairy Tail? You seem to know more about this place than anyone else here, Goku asked curiously. Urza paused, her brow furrowing. She lifted a hand near her right eye, glancing at Goku with a quiet intensity. It's a long story, Goku. I'd rather not go into it right now, she murmured. Memories of her past, especially about him, were still too raw to speak of. Goku looked a little taken aback. With her usually strong demeanor, he hadn't expected her to show such sadness. He wasn't sure what to say. Oh, all right. I didn't mean to pry, Urza, he replied softly. There's no need to apologize, she said, offering a faint smile. I'll tell you once you've grown more familiar with life at Fairy Tail, okay? Goku nodded. Sure, I can wait. Thank you. Now that the basement tour is done, the last stop is Fairy Hills, Urza said. Fairy Hills? Goku asked. It's a separate dormitory for most of the female guild members, situated on a hill not far from here, she explained. That includes me, Eno, and many others. Goku tilted his head. And the guys? They either stay at the guild hall or have their own places. It might seem a bit uneven, but given the type of men in Fairy Tail, the separation is necessary, Urza noted, thinking of how some mages could get overly enthusiastic around attractive women. She shook her head, remembering the countless times Eno had been hit on. It was infuriating, though part of her found it almost amusing. I'm not sure what you mean, Goku said, scratching the back of his head. Urza chuckled softly. His cluelessness was refreshing compared to Natsu's boisterous energy and Gray's sarcastic aloofness. You'll understand soon enough. Come on, she said, motioning for him to follow. Goku shrugged. If you say so. Step by step, Urza's smile faded. Her thoughts wandered to the Tower of Heaven and the horrors she endured there. I hope you're safe, Jelil, wherever you are, she thought, recalling her former friend. A tear formed in her left eye, but she quickly brushed it away. Goku noticed, his brow furrowing in concern. Urza, he asked softly. A few minutes later, the two approached Fairy Hills, a sprawling brick mansion divided into 2 wings. The pyramid-shaped roofs were covered in wooden shingles with metal supports. Blue-white windows dotted the walls, marking the rooms within. Lush bushes and trees surrounded the estate. A large sign by the entrance read Fairy Hills in bold red letters, supported by pillars topped with golden fairy tale symbols. "Wow, this is bigger than I imagined," Goku remarked. "It has to be, to accommodate all the tenants. Fairy Tale is a popular guild, and new members arrive frequently," Urza explained. "Well, those new tenants better be ready to pay 100,000 jewels a month," came a sharp voice. Goku looked up to see a small elderly woman with gray hair in a bun, wearing a violet long-sleeved shirt under a red vest, accented with a frilly collar and pink ribbon. "Hello, Hilda. Didn't expect to see you out here," Urza greeted. "Tusk, don't assume I'm lounging all day, Urza. I have responsibilities." Hilda snapped, then froze as her gaze landed on Goku. "Wait," she said, studying him. Goku waved awkwardly. "Hi, I'm Goku, just joined." Before he could finish, Hilda leaped onto him with surprising speed. "Ah," Goku yelped as she scrambled over him like a spider, leaving Urza stunned. Hilda. "What on earth are you doing?" she exclaimed. The matron sniffed and prodded Goku, finally standing upright. "All clear. Definitely a boy," she declared, glaring. Urza blinked. She couldn't tell just by looking. "This is a female-only dorm, Urza. Why bring him here?" Hilda asked sharply. "Master Makarov wanted me to show him around. Fairy Hills is the final stop," Urza explained. I see," Hilda said thoughtfully. "Well, Goku, I'm Hilda, matron here. We probably won't cross paths often. And since you're a boy, that's understandable." Goku wasn't sure how genuine her greeting was. "Nice to meet you, I think." "We won't take long," Urza reassured. "Just a few rooms, then we're done." "Better not mess anything up," Hilda warned, using her usual stern tone. "That applies to you too, boy." "I'll stay with Urza," Goku replied. Satisfied, Hilda returned inside, slamming the door. "Was that because I'm a boy?" Goku asked. "Not entirely, but that's something for later," Urza said with a small smile. Goku ran a hand along his cheek. "Still weird, she almost thought I was a girl." "Hilda has her quirks," Urza laughed softly. They stepped through Fairy Hill's brown doors into a cozy lobby with wooden floors, brick and beige walls, and a front desk flanked by plants and lamps. A brown couch and chair sat atop a green-patterned rug with a small bookshelf behind them. A staircase led to the second floor. "This is where female guild members relax. Hilda assigns rooms here too," Urza explained. "And you pay for things here?" "Yes," she confirmed, squeezing her fist in mock frustration. "The money I've spent—" "I heard that," Hilda's voice called from a room. Urza flinched. "Let's move on," she said quickly. Next was the dormitory bathroom, rectangular, with showers and a large pool fed by a stone statue carrying water from the lake outside. Sunlight poured through the big windows. Goku eyed the water eagerly. "I could swim." "Stop, Goku." "Women only," Urza warned. "Awa, but it looks so nice." "Another time, we have a schedule," she said firmly. Goku sighed, defeated. Their last stop was the resource room, filled with shelves of books. A spiral staircase led to more floors. "This is Fairy Hill's library. Guildhall's library is bigger, but this will do," Urza said, sensing his lack of interest. "Looks cool, but I don't read much," Goku said nervously. "The last thing I read was a textbook from Master Roshi, something about training my mind." "Reading during martial arts? Interesting approach," Urza said. "It was supposed to balance my mind in fights, not sure if it worked," Goku shrugged. Urza tapped her lips, remembering how he had used his power pole in battle against Natsu. Although he clearly isn't the sharpest, Goku does seem to have an uncanny understanding of combat. That fight with Natsu, for example, looked chaotic at first glance, but he had total control over it, she mused. Her skill in martial arts was exactly why she needed to stay alert when facing Goku. There was no doubt he would be an extremely unpredictable opponent in battle. Then again, her Requip magic arguably made her even more unpredictable. The question nagging her was whether to keep it hidden or reveal it beforehand so their match wouldn't be unfair. Urza pursed her lips, contemplating her final choice. "Well, besides the other dormitories, that's basically all there is to see in Fairy Hills. How about I show you my room and then we can call it a day?" Goku's eyes lit up. "Sure. I'm curious to see where you live." "Don't get your hopes up. It's really nothing fancy," Urza replied, smiling. She headed upstairs to the second floor and located her room. Unlocking the door, she stepped inside and gestured for Goku to follow. Make yourself comfortable. True to her word, her room was fairly standard for Fairy Hills. 2 windows, a bed with purple sheets, and an orange-green rug partially covering the wooden floor. Curiously, a barrel in the corner contained a collection of swords and weapons in multicolored sheaths: red, green, magenta, and more. Next to her bed, a stand allowed her to store her armor before sleeping. The setup was simple but functional. That's a lot of swords, Goku exclaimed, trying to grab one before Urza swiftly slapped his hand away. Don't touch. I keep all my weapons in top condition, she said firmly. But won't you use them on missions? He asked. Yes, but that's different. I always refurbish my weapons after a mission. Urza's tone was confident. Besides, some of these swords won't even see use thanks to my magic. Your magic. I thought you didn't want to reveal it until we fought, Goku asked, curious. That's true, but a brief explanation won't hurt. I don't want you at a clear disadvantage, she said honorably. She motioned for Goku to sit on the bed, giving her space to demonstrate. Rather than explain with words, I'll show you, Urza announced. She drew a deep breath. Requip! Golden light enveloped her as her magic power surged. A red magic circle formed behind her, and her armor transformed completely. Even her hair and sword shifted. When the light faded, Goku saw a form he'd never witnessed. Urza now wore a purple, sleeveless kimono adorned with white flowers. A black obi, tied with red string, wrapped around her waist. Long cloths draped her sides, and her legs were clad in pink stockings. She wore simple sandals, rather than boots. In her right hand, she wielded a blue bicento, a staff similar to the power pole but with a sharp blade at the tip. Grinning at Goku's stunned expression, she expertly spun her weapon. Robe of Yuan, Goku was speechless. This magic was far more impressive than Natsu's. That's incredible. How did you change your clothes like that? Placing the bicento aside, Urza explained, it's caster and spatial magic called Requip. I store armor in a pocket dimension, allowing me to switch sets instantly. Fascinating, right? I don't fully get it, but it sounds like it'd be very useful in battle, Goku replied. Exactly. Each armor has unique abilities, allowing for versatile use. The Robe of Yuan, for example, is highly elastic, making it hard to damage. Wow, that's amazing, Goku whistled, more eager to see her other armors. There is a limit to how many sets I can store, though. Some also drain energy if used too long. That's why I keep improving my skills, she noted. Spinning her bicento one last time, Urza requipped back to her normal outfit. That's the only armor I wanted to show. Hope it made sense, she said. Goku smiled. It's fine. I'd be glad to help if any of your armors give you trouble. I appreciate that, Goku, but first we need our fight. Don't forget, she teased. Can't wait, Urza, this is gonna be awesome. Goku pumped his fists in excitement. Urza laughed, agreed. But since our tour is done, we should wait until tomorrow. We need to check in with Master Makarov and see how Natsu's doing. Yeah, plus, he rubbed his stomach. I'm getting hungry again, Urza's jaw dropped. His metabolism must be unreal. Your eating contest with Natsu was just hours ago. How are you hungry again? I can't help it. Happens all the time, Goku said, stomach growling loudly. Urza pinched her nose bridge, glancing out the window. The sun was already setting. Tusk, I suppose dinner's coming soon, so I can't blame you, she muttered. Really? No promised to cook for me. Let's go, Urza. Goku bolted down the stairs. Slow down. You don't even know where you're going, she yelled, locking her door and chasing after him. Hopefully, she thought, her wallet wouldn't suffer this time. Back at Fairy Tale, night had fallen over Magnolia. The pair returned to the guild, waiting for dinner. Urza updated Makarov on the tour, while Goku recapped for Gray, Levi, Kana, Jet, and Droy. Natsu was still asleep in the infirmary, though everyone suspected he'd wake when food was served. Goku shared his visit highlights, including his awkward encounter with Hilda. Did Hilda really crawl all over you? That's unsettling, Kana said while shuffling her cards. She's usually grumpy, not creepy, Levi replied. I haven't met her, so I can't say, Droy shrugged. 'Cause you're a boy, Droy, Levi deadpanned. That rhymed, Jet said, unimpressed. Gray leaned close to Goku. So you saw Urza's requip. Thoughts? It's incredible. I've never seen anything like it, Goku said. Urza's strong, but she's no match for you yet. She even struggled against fire breath, Gray commented quietly. Don't tell her I said that. I get it. Even her armor isn't near my level, but I still want to fight her. Should be fun for both of us, Goku whispered back. Exactly, just don't do what you did to Natsu, all right? Gray warned. Goku smiled. Lesson learned. Gray nodded in approval. Goku then recalled asking about Urza joining Fairy Tail, noticing her subtle hand movement over her eye. I wonder if she'd notice, he thought. Clearing his throat, he asked more seriously, By the way, Gray, does something seem wrong with Urza's right eye? Did she get hurt? Gray lifted an eyebrow, clearly surprised. He hadn't expected someone so new to Fairy Tail to bring up that question so quickly. What's this about? He muttered, running a hand through his black hair. Conversations like this always seem to get awkward fast. About what? Urza interjected, standing firmly in front of Gray and Goku with her arms crossed. Nothing, Urza. We were just, wondering what could possibly wake that numbskull Ash brain from his nap. Right, Goku? Gray stammered, breaking out into a nervous sweat under Urza's gaze. Goku hesitated, and Gray gave him a subtle nudge in the ribs. Yeah, that's it. It's been ages since our last fight. Urza raised an eyebrow, unconvinced by their awkward charade. Oh yeah, ages. What's he expecting, sleep through dinner or something? The moment Gray said dinner, Natsu kicked the door open, sending it flying off its hinges in a small burst of flames. He grinned broadly, completely unfazed by Goku's presence. Did someone say dinner? He shouted. Urza, now distracted from Gray and Goku's discussion, just shook her head with an amused smile. Ha, called it, Macau chuckled. Damn it, Wakaba groaned, digging through his pocket before reluctantly handing over some jewels to Macau. You two actually bet on Natsu waking up by dinner, Urza scolded. How childish. Come on, Urza. Free real estate, Macau argued, greedily counting his winnings. Not my fault Wakaba fell for it. Yeah, laugh it up, Wakaba muttered, adjusting his shades and taking a long swig of beer. Lucky bastard. At the bar, Makarov frowned at the destroyed door. Natsu, you're paying for that. Oh, come on, Gramps. I just woke up, Natsu groaned, rubbing his throbbing forehead. And I've got a killer headache for some reason. Maybe next time you could open doors like a normal person, Makarov chided, downing his mug in frustration. Manners, schmanners, all I care about is. Natsu froze as his eyes landed on his old rival. Goku, Goku turned, surprised. Natsu, with a grin, the Fire Dragon Slayer slammed a fiery fist into his palm. Let's do round 2 right here, right now, fight me, Natsu yelled. Just as he lunged for Goku with a Fire Dragon Iron Fist, Urza yanked him back by the collar. Hayak, he coughed. Take it easy, idiot. Aren't you starving after lying in bed for so long? Urza grunted. Oh, right, almost forgot, Natsu chuckled sheepishly, scratching his pink hair. Then sit down and wait for dinner like everyone else. Urza firmly plopped him into a seat beside Goku and Gray. Yes, ma'am, Natsu replied, straightening awkwardly. You do remember you owe Goku for his previous meal, right? Gray asked, resting his hands on the table. He don't remind me, Natsu muttered, sighing. So, how'd the rest of your tour go, dude? It was fine. Libraries weren't my thing, but I did get to see one of Urza's armors up close, Goku answered. Levi gasped. But the resource room has endless knowledge and books. How can that be boring? Books aren't my style, but what about the armor? Was it cool? Natsu asked eagerly. My robe of Yuan armor, Urza replied. I didn't actually use it, but its Bicento could match Goku's power pole. I thought the same when I first saw it, Goku nodded. Natsu groaned. Wish I could have been there. If it helps Natsu, Goku and I might spar soon, maybe tomorrow if all goes well, Urza added. Natsu's eyes widened with excitement. Wait, really? That's awesome. I'm pumped just thinking about it. Indeed, Urza nodded. But for now, let's eat, I'm starving. Natsu slammed his fist on the table. Hell yeah, bring it on, Eno. The bartender, Eno, emerged from the kitchen, fixing her dark purple hair. She looked exhausted. Hold on, Natsu. I've been preparing something special for Goku, so dinner took a bit longer tonight. For me? Goku asked, surprised. Yes. The master wanted a little welcome gift for your first day at Fairy Tail, Eno explained with a smile. I didn't need special treatment, Goku waved it off. Nonsense, my boy, Makarov said, walking over. As a guild member, I expect great things from you. And what better way to welcome you than this? He signaled Ino, who returned with a large cake shaped like a blue fairy tale emblem. Red frosting spelled, "Enjoy your stay at the guild, Goku." Goku couldn't help but smile at the design and the gesture. "You don't have to eat it right away," Makarov said kindly. "But let's start with a toast." Standing on the bar, he raised his mug. "Here's to our new martial artist from another world. Cheers to Goku." Everyone raised their glasses, clinking or drinking. "Thanks. I can't wait to get stronger here," Goku said, beaming. "Well, as your new family, we'll help you however we can. But for now, eat until you're stuffed," Makarov said. "Heh, you got it, Gramps," Natsu laughed. Ino placed Goku's cake in the center and began serving the rest. Fairy Tail shared a hearty meal, chatting, joking, and even racing to see who could get drunk fastest. Macau tried impressing Ino but failed, while Wakaba offered moral support despite losing more jewels on their Natsu bet. Goku, savoring the food, felt content. It reminded him of the time he ate with Master Roshi, Bulma, Krillin, and others after the 21st World Martial Arts Tournament. Losing was bitter, but friends softened it. He hoped Fairy Tail could become just as important to him, even if they couldn't replace his old friends. Maybe Baba bringing me here was a good call, Goku thought, smiling. Urza mirrored his grin. Hours later, everyone was full. Goku still had room for cake. Urza started to protest, but Ino intervened. "Don't use your hands, I'll cut it for you. Which piece?" Maybe the top piece," Goku said, avoiding Urza's glare. "You got it," Ino said, handing him a plate. Goku gobbled it down in one bite, much to Urza's surprise. "Thanks," he said, mouth full. "Wait, where's Goku sleeping?" Natsu asked, eating his cake. "It's getting late." "I hadn't thought about it," Urza murmured. "He could stay in the infirmary for now," Kana suggested. Makarov shook his head. "Temporary at best. He needs a proper place for a few days or a week. Jobs can take time, and higher-paying ones are rare for non-S-class members," Makarov explained. "Oh," Kana murmured, a hint of guilt creeping in. "Surely there has to be somewhere he could stay." With the last slice of cake gone, Ino lingered near the table. She glanced at Goku, who seemed completely unbothered by the situation, as if solitude was second nature to him. The sight stirred her sympathy. A mischievous smile tugged at her lips as an admittedly bold idea popped into her mind. "If it's not too much trouble, Master, I could let him stay with me," Ino offered. "But you live in Fairy Hills with all of us, Ino. Boys aren't allowed there," Urza said cautiously. "And I doubt Hilda would be thrilled about it either." "That's true, Urza, but technically, Goku wouldn't be living there permanently. He'd just be in my room for now. A temporary guest, nothing more," Ino explained, her violet eyes sparkling with quiet determination. "I don't think it works that way, Ino," Levi muttered skeptically. "Trust me, it won't be a problem. Goku's strong, and once he takes on some jobs, he'll earn enough jewels to have his own place soon," Ino argued. She then looked at her guild master, a mix of hope and confidence in her expression. "Is that all right, Master Makarov?" "Well, it would be the first time a boy stays at Fairy Hills, but—" Makarov trailed off. Ino leaned forward slightly, making sure he noticed her presence. She wasn't fond of using her charm in this way, but desperate times called for desperate measures. Makarov's face flushed crimson as a faintly lewd grin spread. What the heck? Just this once, Ino. But make sure Goku's well looked after until he can manage on his own." Ino gave a victorious wink and flashed a peace sign. "Thank you so much, Master. I'll make sure he feels completely at home." Macau tumbled from his chair, tears of frustration streaming down his face. He couldn't believe how lucky this kid was. The fact that Goku wasn't even trying to get Ino's attention made it even more maddening. Goku tilted his head, confused. "Are you sure about this, Ino? I could just sleep outside the guild hall. I've done it plenty of times before, so it's no problem." Ino draped an arm around his shoulder and gave a reassuring squeeze. "Nonsense, Goku. For someone as adorable as you, it's my pleasure to have you stay with me." Kana, nearby, felt a pang of irritation she couldn't quite explain. She didn't like how close Ino was getting to Goku. "Well, if Master Makarov is okay with this unusual idea, I suppose there's nothing more I can say," Urza said with a resigned shrug. "Shall we call it a night then, Master?" Makarov glanced at the clock and nodded. "Yes, it's getting late, my dear." Gray gestured toward the table. "Wait, shouldn't we finish the cake first? I got it, Natsu cut in. He scooped up the remaining pieces and devoured them in one go, satisfied. Ah, Tilda, that hit the spot. Never mind, then, Gray muttered. Ino stretched her arms. I'll tidy up the kitchen a bit, then we can go, all right, Goku. Sure, take your time, Ino, Goku replied. She ruffled his hair affectionately before heading to the back of the bar. With Ino gone, Kana leaned toward Goku, trying to catch his attention. Hey, Goku, she asked. He turned, curious. Yeah, what's up, Kana? Kana fidgeted with her hair, cheeks faintly pink. Since you're going to be staying in Fairy Hills for a while, would you want to hang out over the next few days? I'd really like to show you more of my magic card ability. After spending the day mostly with Urza, Goku thought it would be nice to get to know some of the other members his age. Kana seemed especially friendly. Sure, Kana, we can definitely spend some time together, Goku said with a relaxed smile. I'm here for 3 years after all, haha. Kana giggled, covering her mouth. Hee hee, perfect. I'm looking forward to it. Gray watched the exchange with a raised eyebrow. What just happened? I have no idea. Why are your clothes off? Natsu muttered as Gray stood in just his trunks. Seriously. Why now? Gray groaned, scrambling to dress. Minutes ticked by as Ino finished cleaning. She grabbed her purse and exhaled in relief. Everything's ready for tomorrow, Master. I'll be back bright and early, she said, bowing cheerfully. Makarov returned the bow with a grandfatherly smile. Good work, dear. Rest well tonight. He then looked at the rest of the guild members with the same warmth. Good night, everyone. I still have some paperwork to finish, but I'll see you tomorrow. He gestured at Goku. And you expect either your first job or some training tomorrow, your choice. Does that include fighting him too? Urza asked. Makarov chuckled lightly. Yes, training comes in many forms, does it not? I suppose it does, Master. Good night, Urza said, waving. Night, Gramps, Gray replied. Night, Jet and Droy chimed in. Pleasant dreams, kids. Don't stay up too late, Makarov said, heading to his office and closing the door. Well, we should head out now, Goku. We don't want to break Master Makarov's rules, Ino said, placing a hand on his shoulder. She glanced at Urza, Kana, and Levi. You coming, girls? We're heading the same way, might as well, Urza replied, giving Gray and Natsu a firm hug before leaving. Good night, you two, don't fight while I'm gone. Got it, boss, Natsu coughed. Why yeah, no fighting, Gray said shakily. Good, I'll see you tomorrow, Urza said, loosening her grip with their relief evident. Good night. It was nice meeting you today, Goku waved. Definitely, Goku, and we'll have that rematch someday, Natsu grinned. Night, man, don't be a stranger, Gray added. I won't, Goku replied, smiling at both of them. As they reached the door, Ino was stopped by Macau, who clutched his chest, overcome with emotion. Good night, Ino. I wish I could explain what I'm feeling. Ino ignored him, misunderstanding completely. Wow, holding the door for us, Macau, that's so sweet. Sure, he stammered, opening the door stiffly. Urza nearly winced at the awkwardness. That was painful to watch, she muttered. The group left, Ino last, giving him a wink. Why you too, Macau whispered, shutting the door. Awkward silence followed before he collapsed in defeat. Wakaba patted him on the back. At least she got your name right this time. Back at Fairy Hills, what kind of stunt are you trying now, Ino? The waitress needed Hilda's approval for Goku to stay. Hilda's stubbornness and Ino's messy reputation made convincing her difficult. It won't be long, please, I'm begging you, Ino pleaded, holding Goku up. You can't say no to this face. Can you put me down? Goku asked politely. Ino clung to him anyway. Actually, yes, I can say no because he's a boy. Boys aren't allowed here, Hilda snapped. He's not like other boys. He's innocent and doesn't know what perverts are, Ino said. They can vouch for me too. I promise he's as clueless as they come, Urza added. He's easy to talk to, Levi said. And very kind, Kana added, cheeks lightly flushed. See, harmless, he won't bother anyone, Ino said. Maybe Urza, but he doesn't do it on purpose. Hey, what does that mean? Goku asked, slightly offended. Hilda frowned, hands to her lips. He's not a peeping Tom, is he? Well, my name's Goku, so technically no, he said obliviously. Urza could only facepalm. Hilda couldn't help but burst out laughing at a remark she considered one of the silliest she'd ever heard. Ha ha ha. You know what, kid? You've got guts. It's been ages since someone actually made me laugh like that. Still, if he plans on staying here, you'll be paying double rent. That's 200,000 jewel per month, no exceptions, no discounts. Understood, NO? NO nodded, barely able to believe their plan had worked. Crystal, Hilda, this kid's a powerhouse. He'll be bringing in money in no time. He better, Hilda warned, narrowing one eye at the young woman. If you fail to pay on time, you don't deserve to call yourself a fairy tale wizard. I'll pitch in for the room, Hilda. I don't want to be a burden on anyone, Goku offered politely. That's very considerate of you, Goku. Best of luck with that, Hilda replied with a sniff, turning and entering the dormitory without a backward glance. Good night, girls. Good night, Hilda, they chorused in unison. Thanks again, NO said cheerfully, wiping sweat from her forehead as she set Goku down. Phew, glad that's taken care of. She knelt to meet Goku's shorter stature. Let's get to my room, you've had a long day. Yeah, Goku yawned loudly. I think I have. The group made their way up the stairs to Fairy Hills, then dispersed. Levi waved and headed into her room while Kana lingered behind. Good night, Goku, Kana called, her smile bright. If you decide to take a job tomorrow, let me know. I can tag along and help out. Sounds great, Kana, thanks, Goku replied. Don't mention it, hee, she said, returning the smile. Kana then waved goodbye to the others before heading to bed. Urza folded her arms, slightly irritated by Kana's offer. As Goku's guide for his first day, she felt it was her responsibility to help him. Hopefully, this wouldn't cause any tension. NO noticed the subtle shift in both Urza and Kana around Goku, a mischievous grin forming. Heh, first day and already a bit of a heartbreaker. NO knew she'd enjoy having Goku around. His carefree, cheerful personality was an added bonus. Urza unlocked her door and stepped inside. Good night, NO, Goku. Rest well. You too, Urza. Thanks for showing me around today. I really understand the guild better now, Goku said, nodding in gratitude. No need to thank me, Goku. It's my job and I did my best, she replied with a smile, giving him a thumbs up. We're guildmates now, so treat me just like everyone else. Goku mirrored her gesture. You got it, Urza. See you later. Take care, she said before closing the door. NO glanced between Goku and Urza, noticing the potential for a genuine connection even after just one day. Looks like you two are already hitting it off, she whispered. I think so. I can tell we'll be good friends, Goku said with a smile. Agreed, and she's pretty cute too, right? NO teased, hoping for a reaction. When none came, she shrugged. What does that matter, NO? Oh, nothing. Just joking, she replied playfully. Let's get some sleep. My room's just around the corner. All right, lead the way, Goku said. NO tiptoed barefoot, careful not to make a sound. She opened the door and ushered him inside. Welcome to my place. Make yourself at home, she said with a smile. I'll grab some extra sheets and a pillow for you. Goku stepped into what could only be described as chaos. Clothes and papers were scattered everywhere, magazines torn and strewn across the floor. NO's pink lace decorated shelves, closets, and lamps switched around frequently. Who knew someone who could cook would be this messy? Goku thought, impressed. NO hummed a tune in the bathroom as she changed. Goku, rubbing his eyes, instinctively sat on her bed. He started out just sitting, but before long he had drifted off to sleep. Sorry for the mess. I usually clean at the guild, so here I just relax, NO began, but stopped when she noticed Goku sleeping soundly, head on her pillow, mouth open. Normally, she'd be annoyed, but he looked peaceful enough to let it slide. Now in orange pajamas, NO gently tucked him under the covers and removed his shoes. Goku looked even more serene, which delighted her. She leaned down and kissed his cheek, causing him to stir slightly in his sleep. Sweet dreams, Goku. Turning off the lights, NO grabbed an extra pillow and blanket, lying down beside him so she wouldn't disturb him. Thus ended Goku's first day as a member of Fairy Tail. What adventures awaited the young warrior turned aspiring mage tomorrow?